Al, it's been a decade,
Wow.
but they finally made a new 2D Mario game.
It was good.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
There's no wah-wahs to be found here. That's all you need to know. That's actually
We're just
not
going to
all you
add
need
them
to
into
know.
this podcast so you can
How
enjoy them in
dare.
the background. Wah,
How
wah,
dare you? No, no
wah,
wah-wahs.
wah.
No, none of that. None of that. None of that nonsense.
Oh, man.
Oof.
So, yeah, no wah-wahs in this podcast for you.
Thank you.
But hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady
Hello.
This is episode 357, and we are talking about Super Mario Brothers Wonder,
Wonder.
the latest two-dimensional Mario game.
With lots of playable characters.
It is indeed a lot of playable characters. Yeah, they this is the first one they've released of like a traditional side-scrolling. That's not a Super Mario Maker game because I don't think those technically count.
Probably not.
Since New Super Mario Bros. U that came out in 2012.
Wow.
And if you want to go back even further, this is the first non-new Super Mario Bros. 2D Mario game since Yoshi's Island in 1995.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
As our friend Stain would say, it's been a while. But anyways, yeah, this game is out now. It came out on the 20th of October of this year for the Nintendo Switch, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, it's a pretty good Mario game. Who's surprised?
I mean, I've had thoughts on the new Super Mario Brother game, so I was
Well,
real
yeah, we'll
jazzed.
get into that.
I was real jazzed that this one was different.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the development of this here video game.
Okay.
I'm going to pull from the Wikipedia, and there's a Twitter thread I found that has some insight as well.
Ooh,
Such as,
hit
hey,
me.
did you know 5 people worked on Super Mario Brothers, and 4 of the 5 people worked on Super Mario Brothers Wonder?
Oh, I saw that earlier.
It's pretty neat.
There's some consistency there.
Yeah. One of the main people from that original team was Takashi Tezuka, who was the assistant director and game designer for Super Mario Bros. 1, who would then later go on to be the director of such games as Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening. Some pretty decent games in his catalog.
Some pretty good games.
Yeah. But there's like an interview with him and some of the team, and like the director of the game, who is Shiro Mori, was quoted saying, "When I think back to the first time I played the original Super Mario Bros. Game, I remember feeling that it was full of hidden surprises and wonders. Coins would come out when you hit the blocks, and your body would grow bigger with super mushrooms. Back then, everything was new and packed with unexpected delights. However, now that the Super Mario games have been enjoyed by players for many years, those things have somehow become ordinary. That's why Tezuka-san's goal was to create moments that even modern players would find unexpected and wondrous." You got to hit him with the unexpected.
And the wondrous.
Mm-hmm. Koji Kondo's also here because, of course,
What?
he mentioned talking about making the music and sounds.
The music.
He said, "We gave each character a distinctive jump sound and deliberately created sounds that would help convey the character's movement to players. Also, we wanted to give it a fresh feel by integrating the sound of musical instruments into the sound effects. So in this game, we use an electric ukulele made of Yezo spruce for Mario's jump sound. Using strings to accompany the traditional action of running before jumping to increase jump distances has enabled us to add sounds of varying dynamics to better express the feeling of ascending. This is the first time the jump sound changes based on how the player jumps, just like how string instruments make different sounds depending on how strongly or softly a musician plucks the strings," which is that's a very technical, like, this is a musician talking about this, but like it makes so much sense and is such an interesting idea.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
This is also something I found interesting that they talked about. This is from Tezuka, and they said basically talking about like getting everyone's ideas and everything together, and they said like, we've always valued team-wide discussions, but remote work may have also had a major impact. Since meetings now took place online, we no longer had to limit the number of participants due to limited space in meeting rooms, so we made it a rule to open meetings to the entire development team so that anyone could join at any time. And then another member of the team, Hayashida, there you go, learn how to say words and say names, said, we let members join online meetings without turning on their camera so that they could just listen in while multitasking. I'm glad we were able to share information widely across the team in this way. Of course, there were difficulties developing a game in an unfamiliar work-from-home environment, but we were able to take advantage of the situation and work on new approaches, which is, again, another interesting thing to think about, being like, we were able to get more people in these meetings to put their ideas into this game than we would have had like if we were doing this in person.
Which is rad. I mean, it's a really inclusive way to think about it, and you're getting new talent that are throwing in some ideas.
Yeah, which is very cool.
I hope that somebody in that meeting is the one that suggested the sound effects that one badge makes.
I hope so too.
God, brilliant.
Oh man,
that person deserves a raise.
Yes. This is from the Wikipedia development section. As we said, veteran Super Mario developer and producer Takeshi Tezuka returned as a producer for Wonder. Shiro Mori, who previously directed New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which I think is the Switch port of that, returns as director. Wonder started development in 2019 after the release of Deluxe, and the development team was not given a deadline to produce a prototype, which resulted in extra time to develop gameplay ideas. During the initial planning of Wonder, Mori decided to recreate the sense of secrets and mystery that had been present in the original Super Mario Bros. For a modern audience. The focus was placed on updating the traditional idea of transporting Mario to different areas of the level using warp pipes, vines, and other means. Tezuka suggested to instead change up the current physical location, and the Wonder Flower, which dramatically alters the current level, was born. In order for all levels in the game to uniquely implement this item, up to 2,000 ideas for Wonder effects were solicited from the development team. The most viable were prototyped and implemented into the final game. Wonder was announced during a Nintendo Direct presentation on June 21st, 2023, and was released on October 20th for 2023 for the Nintendo Switch. It is the first traditional 2D side-scrolling Super Mario game since New Super Mario Bros. U on the Switch, not the Switch, the Wii U in 2012. And then Wonder is also the first game to feature Kevin Afghani as the new voice of Mario and Luigi following the announcement of previous actor Charles Martinet's departure from the roles in August of 2023.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
That is kind of a big deal.
He did a really good job.
Yeah, like I didn't hear a lot of him just because we didn't play as Mario.
We didn't play as those characters.
But like from what I heard, I was like, this is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, like it does enough like homage to Charles Martinet's version without like being a copy paste.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So excited to hear more from him on Mario in the future, hopefully.
Yeah. It also says Sonic Superstars, a similar 2D side-scrolling platform game by Sega, was released 3 days prior. Tezuka and Sonic Superstars producer Takashi Iizuka say that this was a coincidence, despite how long it had been since either franchise had a 2D entry. It was the first time a Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog game had been released close to one another since the 1990s Nintendo-Sega console war.
Wow.
It's very wild.
I mean, I mentioned what I thought about that situation. That was just a mistake on Sega's part.
Big oops.
I mean, that was a big mistake on Sega's part.
Big oops. Unsurprisingly, this game has good reviews.
What?
On Metacritic, it has a 93 out of 100, and this OpenCritic score is not correct. I think it's just like the recommendations of reviewers recommending it.
Okay.
I think it has like a 92 out of 100 on OpenCritic. So
okay.
Similar-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game seems is pretty good. You mentioned this earlier. We also I guess we both mentioned this. This is the first game they've put out that is a non-new Super Mario Brothers game. Like we said, since Yoshi's Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the new Super Mario Brothers games get a lot of flack, and deservedly so. But like I will say that when they put out that first game in like 2005 for the DS, the first new Super Mario Brothers game, it was an interesting concept, and it was a kind of a cool thing to see because like they hadn't done a 2D Mario game since 1995 at that point, so it had been 10
Like a decade
years.
at that point.
So it was nice to see like, hey, they're making a new Super Mario Brothers game in 2D and everything. Like that's cool. I'm excited to play this, and I was like really into it. And then they decided to just beat that dead horse to death for the next decade by just making the same game over and over and over again and not really doing anything new with it, despite the title of the game. And just it was just the same thing over and over, and there was just no innovation in that series or anything. And that kind of like really that took people out of the idea of like wanting to play 2D Mario games for a while. And like Mario Maker kind of helped that because like, it allowed people to play, 2D Mario games and the tile sets of the games they really liked, the classic ones per se. But they hadn't made anything that was non-new Super Mario Brothers for almost 20 years at this point.
Right.
And then this game comes out, and like I think that initial like showing of it was smart because they kind of just like really showed off and like this game's weird.
Yeah.
And this isn't new Super Mario Brothers anymore.
Right.
Like this is
Which
something
is a very
different.
good idea.
And it very much is something different. And
here's an elephant.
Here's an elephant. Here's a pipe that's just walking on the ground.
Just doing a little wiggle.
Bloop, 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 bloop. It's just weird stuff, and it very much works.
Oh yeah, it super duper works.
This game is a heck of a lot of fun.
It is. And I mentioned this when we were playing it, but it really gave me like World vibes.
Very much so, yes.
I mean, obviously World didn't have like drugs and pipes that wiggled and stuff or elephants, but like just the way that it played and the way that everything was set up and all, it just really, really reminded me of World, which I mean, not a bad thing.
It was definitely one of those things when I saw reviews of this game hit, before the game came out, and there was multiple people saying like, "Hey, this is the best Mario game they've made, or like 2D Mario game since Super Mario World," and it evokes like those feelings of Super Mario World. And I was like, "I am
okay. I'm in.
I'm listening. Hello." And I don't think you can disagree with that.
No, I mean, I definitely couldn't because, I mean, I just kept getting that feeling when I was playing through it
like
with you.
There's all the worlds feel very different from each other. There's like, the power-ups are very unique to themselves, considering like there's only 2 returning power-ups from like the general Mario series, which is just the mushroom and the fire flower.
Right.
Everything else is new. And it really just gives you that feeling of like just wanting to keep playing that one more level type deal, and like it just it has that same feeling of like the secrets and everything that Mario World has, like
the secret
exits, all that sort of stuff, special worlds there, like
Ugh.
they really kind of like made a Mario World for a new generation.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's really cool because hey,
It's
that
really
game's really
cool.
good.
Yeah, and this game's really good. And they did do some like quality of life stuff, like there is like the online multiplayer and local multiplayer, and you can set up like standees to help people out. You could save people if they turn into a little ghosty. So you're not completely on your own there unless you choose to be.
Yeah, the online stuff I think is really interesting because it's very Souls-like in the way they present it. Where like you can just like turn the online mode on and you'll see like ghosts of various players pop up into your world, and like they'll be in levels with you and everything, and they can help you out in terms of like if you die they can save you and bring you back and all that sort of stuff, or like they can drop standees to show you a secret or something of that nature. Like it's very cool that like it works in such a way, and like even just like we played this entire game together, and it's not this like there's a difference between the local co-op and the online co-op, where like the local co-op is more the traditional kind of like new Super Mario Brothers style, where like you'll have to like deal with each other.
Right.
But this is like, considering it's online, we're a ghost to each other, so like we don't get in each other's way or anything, and we can help each other out and be like, oh hey, here's something over here and everything, and like, oh, this is how you do this specific section of this level and all that sort of stuff. But like we still are able to play even though like we can't really interact with each other physically in these levels. Like we were still able to play through all those levels together, and it was a really fun time.
Yeah, I mean something as simple as like I would see your face, like your character's face in a bubble like down below, and I'm like, oh, there's some secret that took you down a pipe or something. Like I should look for that. So like that was really cool. And also like the ghost feature helped us both out a few times.
Very much so.
It's just like it makes the weird sound when you're doing it, but you're just like punching that button trying to get the ghost to the other person as quick as you can.
Hmm.
Help me.
I'm a little baby.
I'm a little baby and I'm a ghost. Help me.
There's also like you can play as multiple characters through the game. They don't have any
Mhm.
differences really. It's just like a skin essentially.
Yeah.
You can play as Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, a couple Toads, Toadette, a couple
Mhm.
Yoshis, and Nabbit. Uh, the Yoshis and Nabbit are kind of like the kid mode version of this, where like they don't take damage, but you can't use power ups either. But I think a change to this game that I would make
Mhm.
is just make that a toggle for any of the characters,
Yeah.
because I think you're gonna like I've already seen this happen with people who like have kids and stuff, of just people running into the problem being like, my kid wants to play as this character, but they're not at an age where they can really play through the game by themselves yet. So
Mhm.
that those characters that like don't take damage or anything does nothing for them, and they're just getting frustrated with this game and not playing it.
Right.
So I think that would be the smarter way to do that. Whether or not Nintendo does that because it's Nintendo
Right,
is
right. I
another
mean, like
thing.
when I was a kid, if there had been a situation like this and like I couldn't play as Peach, I would have been real salty
Yeah.
because like she's always the one that I want to play as.
Hmm.
So like if I were forced into being a Yoshi or a Nabbit, which like nothing wrong with a Yoshi, but that's not who I want to play as. If I wanted to play as a Yoshi, I would pick a Yoshi.
And also, if you want to play as a Yoshi, you're tied to not being able to play the game properly,
Yeah, that too.
which is a bummer because like people also would like want to play as Yoshi.
Right, right. That also I didn't even think about that. Like if you want to play as Yoshi, you can't like just play the game normally. Yeah, the toggle would have made a lot more sense. Like just
Yeah.
a menu toggle.
It's a weird thing, but like I think if they do that, that would be a very very smart change to
Mhm.
make. It would make a lot of people happy. But again, it is
It is
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Yeah, and I mean the thing is like with the Yoshi and the Nabbit, I found out like even if you're playing like some of the harder levels, like it won't save you with some of the more difficult like platforming sections
Yeah, like
because
pits
like
or lava or stuff like that, you still die from. It's just you can't
you
take
still
damage
die
from
from.
enemies.
Right. So like it didn't really do a whole lot there, but
Yeah.
because I tried in some of the more frustrating levels.
You did, yes. We did a little experimenting.
Yeah. And I guess another addition we should talk about is the badges.
Yes.
Because I had one badge on most of the time that helped me quite a few times. It was like
Mhm.
a safety bounce
Yeah.
that if I fell in a hole or something, or I fell in lava or fell in poison, like it would bounce me out once. Which came in handy at one point. I mean, it came in handy a lot, but there was one point where we were like both making a jump and it bounced me out and I made it. And you were like, "How did you make that?" And I was trying to keep my secret that I, I, I was just that good. I was not that good. It just bounced me out. But it saved you because you were a ghosty at that point. You were able to fly up
It's
to me
true.
and save yourself. But yeah, it was the safety bounce.
But yeah, the badges are essentially like there are active badges, there are passive badges, and then there are expert badges. The active badges kind of like give you a gameplay addition, such as like there's a thing where you
Floating.
can have a cap float. There's a you can like the Super Mario 64 of like you time jumps well and you'll get a tire jump.
Mhm.
You can hold a jump and jump higher type deal. Stuff like that essentially, stuff that would make your gameplay different or
Customizable.
customizable, or also something that will help you in specific levels per se.
Right.
The passive badges are kind of more like if you want to start the level big in your big form, or the bounce one where you can bounce out of a pit once and be okay, or like you
Extra coin
extra
boxes or question mark
coins.
boxes.
You can see hidden blocks through levels, or like you can change all the power ups to a specific power up if you're just wanting that in general type
Hmm.
deal. And then the expert ones are the ones that are just like these are choices. I guess if you want to make the game harder for yourself, this is the way to do it. There's like where you're just always running, never stop.
Never stop. I
There's
hated that one.
there's one where
Hated
you're
it.
just invisible, so like enemies can't see you, but you're also invisible on screen, so like it's hard to
Don't see
determine where
yourself.
you are.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that, and then there's the secrets badge that you get if you 100% the game and finish the secret level at the end, where it just changes all the sound effects in the game. It is really good.
It's really good. We didn't get that one, but we watched a YouTube video after, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is just brilliant!"
It's
Like
really funny.
it's just a guy making noises with his mouth. I forgot the one that he was making all the time. Oh shoot. It was like his was it his attack one or was it his jump
Might have
one?
been the jump.
I think it was the jump.
Boing.
Boing.
It's just very good. It's
It's really
it's
good.
completely like useless, excuse me, but it makes
Yeah.
it's so funny.
It's brilliant. But
Yeah.
yeah, after once I probably would have taken that off for something practical, but it was really funny
really
to
good.
see.
Oh,
Like I said, I
man.
hope that was an idea that came up with that Zoom call and they're just like, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
That guy deserves a raise.
For sure.
It's so funny.
It's really good.
Ooh.
New power-ups. Elephant mode
Mm-hmm.
is very good.
It's very good. It's probably the best one in this game.
It's very funny. You can smash people out of the way. You can spray water on them. All this sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bubble mode where you can capture enemies in bubbles, but you can also use the bubbles to jump on to like bounce and get further on in a path if you want to cheese platforming that way if you want to.
Oh, that reminds me of the time where we were trying to find that one coin and there was apparently a vine that I just kept missing somehow and I just bubbled my way over
We just
there with a
didn't find it,
bounce.
and then you bubbled over, and then I think eventually I found the vine. I was like, oh, this is how we're supposed to do it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, oops.
And then there is the drill head, which apparently is a power up from Mario Galaxy,
Yes, that is correct.
where you can drill into the tops and bottoms of the levels and everything, and find secrets that way, or like use it to attack enemies and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're fun power ups. They are new for 2D Mario for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're implemented into like all the levels very, very well. So they're fun to use, which is like, essentially the thing you want out of power ups in a Mario game. Is this fun to use? Yes.
Right.
Check the
Yes.
box. We're good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously some are better for other levels, but like,
Right.
it was ton of fun to be able to like test it and see like which is the one that you would really want for this one. But yeah, Elephant was definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
And it was cute to see Daisy and Peach as little elephants.
It's the reason they led with that one.
Oh yeah, it makes
For
total
sure.
sense. Total sense.
The main thing, or I guess you could say the main gimmick in this game, is the wonder flowers and the wonder seeds,
Yeah.
which are just a wild ride. Where look, there's
You
no
never know what you're
beating around
getting.
the bush with this. It is like you're tripping on drugs when you hit those flowers, and then the level just goes into a completely different state.
They took taking mushrooms literally here.
And it's so fun.
It's so fun. We were constantly like, where are they? We need these. But like, you never knew what was going to show up once you hit that thing. Like, I think my favorite is still the one where like you end up doing like a music pose. Like,
Yeah.
that was so good. And we were both elephants at that point. So we got posed as the elephant.
It's very good. Like there's
But like, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say like there's some where like enemies are running at you and you have to like ride on top of them and stay like with them. There's some that are like music based where you have to like keep up with the rhythm.
Yeah.
Which there was a lot of rhythm based stuff in this game, which was pretty fun. I'm trying to think of some other ones that
I mean,
were
the second level gives you like kind of like the first like, oh, okay, we're getting weird with this, where they're like, here's a musical number by Piranha Plants.
yeah.
And you're like, all
Right.
right, okay, this is
All
what this
right.
game is. All right.
Sure.
There are some where like they skew the way you're playing the game, where instead of it's being a side scroller, it's a top down 2D
Oh,
game then,
right. Right.
which
That
is
was wild.
real wild. There's some where they just transform you into different things, where like you get to be a little blob or a spiky ball or a Goomba.
Right. The Goomba ones were fun. I mean, like you cannot jump where the
You can't
but
jump. Enemies will just destroy you, so you have to like hide
Mhm.
from them. It really like changes the dynamic of the gameplay,
Yeah,
which is real
stealth
fun.
mission.
Yeah.
But it's
Um.
really cute because you're a little Goomba with a little crown on.
Mhm.
I love it.
There's some where like some of like the water levels will invert the water to where like
Right.
the ground, like where the water is, will just go to the sky and vice versa.
Or you'll
Um,
swim in lava.
you swim in lava, or there'll be like just bubbles of water you have to swim through. There's a lot of really just great ideas. Like it never felt like when you were doing these levels that like, oh, they're reusing this idea too much, or like
Right.
any of the
I
ideas
never
were
got tired
overused.
of it.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, even if like it was the same thing, like an idea they did again, it was just like they did it in a different way. So like
Mhm.
you still had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's
There's a reason why it was like the thing we were always looking for
yeah,
in the
it's such a
levels.
fun thing to do in terms of like remixing these levels that you're playing. Because
Hmm.
you can skip those entirely and just play through the level normally and go through it and
Right.
finish the level and have a good time. But like they do so many fun and interesting things with the Wonder Flower in terms of just like changing your thoughts of like what do you do in a 2D Mario game, that is just like it's worth it every time to go out of your way to find them, and
Hmm.
every time you'll just be like, this is such a good time.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Um, you also have like the battleship levels.
Mm-hmm. These are basically the Super Mario Brothers 3 ship levels. They are
Yep.
they're not side scrollers, they're auto scrollers that
Hmm.
you got to get through and everything, and then there's kind of like a little mini boss section, quote unquote, at the end that you have to get through.
Hmm.
Um, which is
You have
fun.
castles.
Yeah. Castles where you fight Bowser Jr. and it's kind of similar to like Mario World, where like you beat Bowser Jr. and then you get a little cutscene afterwards of like, all right, now the castle's fine,
Yeah.
type deal. Um,
Uh,
all those Bowser Jr. fights were interesting because like it just starts off as like a normal fight, and then Bowser Jr. does his wonder stuff and basically changes up how the level works and everything. So you have to
mhm.
like change your strategy on the fly and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, we haven't mentioned the dark mode where like your eyes are
Oh,
glowing.
right.
Right. And then there's the ones where you're like that, but also stretched.
You're very tall. You're like the skinny Mario from Mario Maker, but worse.
Those are wild.
Those are very fun. Yeah, it's very hard to see as well.
So hard to see.
But again, it's just
Those
it's
are
another
tough.
fun idea in this game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many good ideas and it made it all feel like fresh and fun.
Because
It was
we
good.
cruised through this game in like 2 nights, I think.
Yeah, I told my mom we beat it, and she's like, "What do you mean you beat it already?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think we beat it Saturday night, I think." And
Yeah,
she's like, Didn't you get it on Friday?" I'm like,
yep.
"Yeah,
We
yep,
we got we beat all the levels. Well, all of them but one, but we had to 100% the game to get the last level.
yeah." We're not doing that.
And
You might, but I'm
we got
not.
all the Wonder Seeds.
Hmm.
So there's that. You were very mad at some of these special levels.
Oh God, I hated them. That and the running levels with the
Yeah.
the running badge. Although to be
You
fair,
got some salt in your in your voice.
I don't usually get ragey like that, but I got a little
It's a little
ragey.
ragey, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I didn't get as mad with the auto runner, but like that auto runner badge sucks. I think the most mad I got was with the spiky ball
Yeah,
special level.
yeah. It was that in like
'Cause
the wall jump one.
yeah, and then I ended up like doing it.
We started the next day, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna try this, and then like 2 tries later, you're like, all right, I finished it. And I was like, all
Yeah,
right, cool.
because what we were gonna do is like since you had already beaten it, we were gonna have you come in like and do ghost stuff if necessary.
Right.
Um, but then like we did it and I finished it and I'm like, oh, huh. Because I had a problem like doing the like vanilla version of that one.
Hmm.
But then this one is just like the timing on it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like you have to be perfect on that jump,
I mean, it is.
on every jump.
I mean, those levels in general are very, reminiscent to original Special World, where in Super Mario
Right.
World, where like they were the hard levels of that game, and these are the
Yep.
hard levels of this game.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, the spiky ball one, it's probably the closest I got to rage quitting.
Hmm.
Instead, I went and rage peed.
You did.
I got so mad. I was just like, I gotta go pee. And you thought I threw something. I didn't throw something.
I think I was more worried that you were just going to start hitting yourself.
Oh yeah, that I didn't do that, but it's always a risk.
Yeah.
It's always a risk. But you're like, no throw. I'm like, I didn't throw anything.
Because it sounded like you just threw something, but you probably just like smacked your hand on the couch or something.
I did.
I just didn't want you to like
Yeah.
throw. That'd
No,
be
no,
bad.
I don't throw things.
I know, but still.
I either hit myself or I hit the couch. No other options.
Uh,
But I got through it. I did it. I did
Mhm.
all the seeds.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, man, hard.
Hmm. Like we said, there's like the badge levels where like you are able to unlock the badges, and they kind of just give you like a tutorial, like here's how you use this badge per se. There's the break time levels where it's kind of just like here's a little chill, very small snippet of a level where you get
I
a seed.
love the break times.
And like some of them they like implemented like some like the bonus music or special like songs from other Mario games. So like
Hmm.
you hear like the Mario World bonus level music.
Hmm.
There's I think Sunshine music is in one of them. One of the levels I don't remember if it's like a main level or what, but like there's the Metal Mario music from Mario 64.
Right, right. The that one was like one of the wonder um parts of the level is you get like a metal version of yourself and then you have the Metal Mario music.
Which is
I was
cool.
like,
Like
oh
it's
yeah.
just a fun way to like be like, hey, remember these songs? They're very good. And I was like, yeah, these are fun.
These are really good
These are really
songs.
good.
Yeah, it was rad.
You also have the KO arenas, which essentially are like timed versions of levels where you have to defeat enemies in a specific amount of time to get the specific 10 coins, which is another
Hmm.
collectible you get in the levels.
Hmm.
Um,
And then you had the like puzzle finding
yes,
ones.
which is just like, hey, go around this level and find out where we hid these 5 little things, and then you'll get a seed. Those I think were interesting because like we had to work together to be like, okay, how does this work? Because they were puzzle levels.
They were puzzles.
And I thought that was it's a cool thing to put into this game because like you have the traditional 2D stuff, you have the badge levels, you have the little snippet levels, and then you got these little puzzle levels that kind of like break up the monotony of everything and give you kind of like
Hmm.
a different choice to have throughout all these worlds. It's a very smart idea.
Yeah, I mean it really breaks it up so
Hmm.
that you're continuing to have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
still proud of myself for figuring out that side drill thing. I knew that that different color had to be something.
yep,
I figured it out.
you did it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I mean I don't know if this is gonna be true or not, but like it did feel like some of the level design in this game really felt like they were inspired by what people had made in Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, you had mentioned that a few times. You're like, "Oh, this feels like something Mario Maker would have
Because
done."
there's like in like the wall jumping levels feel like that. There's like
Hmm.
like the timed levels where you have to like time P switches and all that sort of stuff, or on
Hmm.
off switches are very much in line with what people made on Mario Maker. Um, like speed run levels are in there as well. Like there's definitely a lot of things that you look at and like this is what people have been making on those games, for the last couple of years and everything. So like it would also make sense that they would look at that and be like, hey, this is what people make and people are playing. Why not put that in this game? But maybe not like necessarily as hard as those levels are, but make it in a way that is like accessible to everyone.
Hmm.
Like it's a smart design choice because like you're showcasing that, hey, we see what y'all are doing, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like you look like you see what you're doing or they're doing.
Right, right, right.
But I think it definitely seems like a fun little nod to like how people were making the levels in Mario Maker.
Right.
I would love to see a Mario Maker 2 update with a Wonder tile set. It's never going to happen, but it would be very cool to like play around with these. I know like there's people who have already like hacked out a tool set for Wonder and everything to like make fan games in this tile set and everything, but like getting an official version of that would be cool. But I bet it would be very hard just like implement it because like, you know, the Wonder stuff would be its own separate thing. And how do you do that? How do you make that creatively good and not bad?
Right.
So there is that. The music in this game is good.
Yeah.
Koji Kondo and his folks did it again, which is Koji Kondo is a wonder himself because like you have to think about it, like he's been making Mario music for nearly 40 years now.
Yeah.
And like
longer than I've been alive and longer than you've been alive.
Yeah. Like how do you do that in such a way to keep it fresh and interesting when everyone knows what a Mario song sounds like?
Right, like you have to keep the style of it consistent in a way so that it's like recognizable as like a Mario song, but like not do the same thing over and over and over and over. Like how do you do that? The answer is don't do wah-wahs.
There you go. Turns out you get rid of those, it makes the soundtrack better. But yeah, I thought all the music in this game really fit like their specific worlds and everything, and just like
yeah, totally.
They fit the levels in good ways, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of good tracks that are in this game for sure. I did like the final boss fight. It was not like necessarily like super hard or anything, but like
no, but it was creative.
It was very creative, very rhythm based.
I like that.
Which was fun, and just like I like the idea that Bowser turns himself into a giant castle and just wants to put on like a cool concert.
He just wants to.
He just wants to have a little fun.
He just wants to rock out. He had that cool hair that we broke.
It's a good time.
I loved his hair swirl thing. We broke it.
You got some bonus dialogue because you were Peach.
Yeah, he was like, "My beloved showed up to my show." And I was like, I don't know about that, but like, let's do this, man.
But yeah, that boss fight was fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was, you know, a bongo type of fight, but actually music based this time because you had to like jump to beats and everything to make it happen.
This game's good.
This game's really good.
This game is really good.
There's some talking flowers in here.
The very divisive talking flowers.
Are they really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There are a lot of people who do not like the talking flowers.
Why? They don't hurt anybody.
I think it's just people are weirded out that like these random flowers are talking to you in English, and that's the only thing that speaks English in this game. But it is funny because like you can change the language on them so they can just speak a different language to you.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Wild.
You could have Italian talking flowers.
They didn't bother me. They, you know, sometimes they give you hints as to like something you should do. Like there was that one that we were trying to find the secret exit, and every time I'd like finish the level, I was like, "So you came this way, huh?" I was like, "So there is another way to go."
Yeah.
So like they're helpful. I mean, they didn't bother me. I was kind of bummed out because somebody did an edit where it was like Rhine lines from Xenoblade, and I was like, "Oh, I wish these flowers all said lines from Rhine."
Bonus DLC Rhine lines.
I would spend money on that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was so good. I loved it. But yeah, the flowers are fine. And then you had the little prince guy that in
his emo haircut.
We had the little flower looking toad dudes that bloomed when they were happy.
There was the Fisher guy who kept giving you cool messages.
Yeah, I love the Fisher guy.
Captain Ted was here.
Yes, Captain Ted. He was
here.
lost a lot.
Yeah, I do like the idea of Mario games just implementing Captain Ted and just him being lost, and you just find him. He's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm just trying to find treasure."
I mean, that's kind of what he does now, and it's pretty funny. I love it. They should keep that up. Give me another Captain Ted game.
Well, I'm sure the Switch 2 will probably have one.
Fingers crossed.
Which is an interesting point as well, that like the Switch debuted. Its debut year had a really good Legend of Zelda game and a really good Mario game, and in potentially its final year has a really good Legend of Zelda game and a really good Mario game.
This is a really good point. I didn't think about that. I do appreciate that the fisherman told you killed 69 Goombas.
It was really so, yeah, to be fair, that was completely unplanned. And like,
I mean, how could you have planned that?
Yeah, I mean, unless I had seen it on Twitter or something of like, hey, he's gonna tell you how many Goombas you killed. I was like a sicko and counted out. But like, we get like, I think it was like after we finished the last level or last world, before we go fight Bowser, and he's like sitting there just like, hey, you know, just sitting here, and oh, hey, I got this information that you've killed X amount of Bowser's Goombas, excuse me. And like, I just like, I clicked through, he's like, oh, hey, you've killed 69 Goombas, and I was like, oh my god. That's perfect.
I had killed 86.
Oh man.
Yeah, 69 Goombas was pretty nice. It's pretty good.
That's the perfect timing.
Yeah, it was real good. You're like, I have to post this on Twitter because this is great. I think that happened twice while you were playing this. That something really funny happened. You had to post it on Twitter.
What was the other thing that I posted? Let me look on my Twitter.
On your Twitter.
Because I know the Goomba one was obviously.
I think the other one was you as elephant doing something.
Oh, it was me on a pipe, crouched and doing the elephant swing, and you're just like sitting there as a ghost.
You just look like you fell over.
I think there was a specific reason why I did that, because like it was something we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had talked about in that level or something. But yeah, it was a good time.
It was a good time.
But yeah, Mario Wonder is very good.
It's very, very good.
A very good return to form. Easily the best 2D Mario game they have made since Super Mario World, which is one of the best games they have ever made. So
yeah, easily. Just, you know, be prepared for some rage-inducing special levels.
If you're Al.
I'm sure I'm not the only person in the world to struggle with those.
Oh, man.
If I am, I'm going to be real sad.
I mean, that would be funny.
No, it wouldn't. I would be so embarrassed.
These games that keep coming out that are very good is like, it's making me very worried for Game of the Year later this year.
Yo, I've been looking at my list because I've been adding stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be super
This is gonna be a bloodbath.
It is going to be a bloodbath.
So that's definitely going to be interesting to figure out later this year. And we still got a couple of games left to come out this year, so
we sure do.
It doesn't stop yet.
Oh man, yeah. I'm just looking at this list and I'm like, oh god, this year has been like probably one of the best years for video game releases like a long time.
We at least got a couple months until then though.
Yeah.
To figure that out.
We'll just cry a lot while we're trying to make our lists.
Which is what we do every year.
That's true, but this year's gonna be worse.
But anyways.
Talking flowers.
Talking flowers, drugs, Mario. He's here. It's a him.
It's a him. Mario.
But yeah, that's Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It's a very good video game. And that's going to do it for us this week. So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can follow us on Blue Sky at seasonalanimecheckup.com. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a whole wealth of bonus content as well. Next week, it's November, which means it's time to return to the world of Otome.
Oh boy.
with a game that Al really enjoyed. Was like, man, this is clearly one of the best Otome games of the year.
Why are you slandering me like this? When I already had a hard time with the bonus levels, you're gonna slander me now with the talk of the Atome.
Well, we'll get into all of that next week when you talk about whatever that game is called.
Charade
There you
Maniacs.
go.